The gentle hours.
Hey everybody, it's John. Boy, am I happy to see you. Some of us have made it through a week or maybe more of being indoors. And I have to say, I think we may have established a groove. Not everybody, and we'll get to that, but I hope everybody has established a groove. Because it's Sunday, and it actually feels sort of like a Sunday. Because last night kind of felt like a Saturday, thanks to you guys and the whole world sort of deciding all at once to have a digital Saturday night. And that made me feel great. D-Nice, 100,000 people at a DJ set he had on Instagram Live. Also, the mix was incredible. If someone can please get the message out to D-Nice that that's the best sounding mix I've ever heard on Instagram Live, that would be great. Great camera angle on the guy, too. It was a place you wanted to stay. And it can be hard to focus on any one Instagram Live. Our brains are so fragmented, it's so difficult to focus on anything. I feel like my focus is so fragmented that at all times I have like 10 or 11 bees buzzing around me. Does anyone else feel this way? That they have about as much attention to devote to something as they would if they had about a dozen bees flying around their face? How many other people have bees flying around their face when it comes to trying to focus on anything? I haven't even quite, and I don't know if I want to give this away, I don't want to discourage anybody, but I haven't even quite found the place in my heart and mind where music lives. And I love music, but apparently music comes from a place in my heart that's busy right now. But I'm trying. But imagine listening to someone play music with a dozen bees flying around your face. And that's what music sounds to me lately. Except one kind of music, and that's jazz music. I don't know what it is about jazz music. Boy, is it good. Boy, does it help. Maybe because it doesn't point to the fact that songs with lyrics are about things that none of which apply to our situation. I think that's my problem. I hear lyrics and I go, yeah, that's not about this. That's not about this. There are no pandemic jams. But rest assured, when we get back to society, there will be pandemic jams. Let's look at the mailbag for a minute. Bring on the bees. Jazz is the best. That is a way to paste together some of the things I've said so far into a sentence. I'm not sure it's exactly the point that I was making, but it's a very interesting patchwork. Some people get lucky sometimes. They find themselves accidentally prepared. I imagine the daughter of the CEO of Charmin right now is just good to go. Or if your best friend's dad works for 3M, you're golden. I happen to have had an Instagram Live talk show before any of this happened. And I find myself in a position of being really grateful that I've already had this thing under my belt. The way you think is awesome, spot on with the bees. I have bees around my head all the time. That's how much I can focus. What? Have you been going to your phone with one task in mind and then you're completely lost in some other website and you're like, why am I on this site doing this thing? I don't even remember what I came to this phone for. But I'm so lucky to see you guys tonight. Very happy to see you. And I also want to say hello to everyone all around the world watching. At this point, there's no time and space. There's no space because everybody's going through this thing synchronously. And there's no time because there's not really much to hold time and place throughout the day. So you can really text anybody anytime you want now. Have you been feeling this one? You text someone 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not rude because you're like, I'm up, they're up. Everyone basically has a newborn baby. Everyone is now living the life of having a newborn baby. But to everyone in other countries, please stay strong. Please, please, please. The only redeeming thing, and I mean maybe the only redeeming thing, no, I do mean the only redeeming thing right now, is that everyone is going through this together. The entire world is going through this together. I hope you found some peace in that, because I have. It's 5 a.m. in Turkey there. Yeah, And you're just tossing and turning in bed, unless you made this appointment viewing, in which case, thank you very much. So if you built a groove, you're ahead of the game. I felt the groove so far. I feel like Monday's coming tomorrow, and it feels like it's about to be a Monday. Again, the digital Saturday night DJ sets, I think if you're Diplo, if you're D-Nice, if you're all these other people giving music to the world on a Saturday night to give them this sort of psychological marker that it's Saturday night, you should be getting a Presidential Medal of Freedom. Because that's incredible. It's an incredible psychological marker so that today feels like Sunday, so that tomorrow feels like Monday. I got so into the DJ set last night that just to make it more real, I waited in line for my own bathroom. It's a joke I tried 3 or 4 times in Diplo's feed last night. I really just wanted to sink one. So anyway, here's an idea that I had. And I might just save the world. I have a great amount of social influence online. And normally when I mention things, people send me the thing that I mentioned. And this country and this world has a dire shortage of N95 masks right now. So what I want to do is every once in a while throughout the show, mention and promote how wonderful the N95 mask is. And then when they send them to me as a social media influencer, I will immediately forward them to the hospitals that need them the most. So let me just tell you, the N95 is time-tested. It blocks out 99.9% of all particulates down to a micron, 2 microns maybe. The N95 mask, I use it. I've always used it. People in my life have used it. The N95 mask rocks. I'm John Mayer, social media influencer, here to talk to you about N95 masks. Get yourself some. Okay, now they're going to send them to me, and I'm going to immediately forward them off to the places that need them the most. That is how you use your power for good. I also want to talk about Charmin bathroom tissue, the strongest and softest. Charmin. That's because I need toilet paper. Little for them, little for me. Let's go down to I need more jazz. What's up, everybody? It's shout out time. Hey, I'm so good to see you. I think we've all been in this little tunnel of our heads, minute to minute. You know how I feel also? You know when you're in a place with your cell phone and it doesn't get good service and it goes in between 1 bar and no bars? Then your battery dies really fast because all it does is just keep searching. Well, I am searching for bars. And my cell phone battery is dying before it should every day. That's how I feel. Searching for signal. Is it going to be okay? Is it not going to be okay? Just like I called last week, I said the good news was going to start being whispered like the bad news was. And it's true that it's good news. It may not be true that it actually is true. But I figured we all went through enough secret bad news, as I call ghost stories now. Now I'm getting ghost stories. That's how I call them. You know, it might have been bioterror. I'm like, listen, I have not pooped normally for 2 weeks. I don't need another haunted house story about this. So now we're here. By the way, make America poop normal again. That's the hat I want to wear. Make America poop normal again. But now I'm starting to hear rumblings, and I think we're all starting to hear rumblings of good news. Is it true? I don't care. I got to be honest with you. I don't care if it's not true. For 5 brief minutes before the next punch to the gut comes, I enjoy the respite from my anxiety. And someone found out that the spit of a yak outside of the Serengeti, there's no yak in the Serengeti, but you know what I'm saying. That works. And then the next thing you know, you find out something is just, and you went, well, that was a good 5 minutes. We all have newborn babies. That's what it feels like. And the baby, we all got the baby in our tummy. Sometimes it just kicks and screams and we gotta go. Now I'm up. Now it's 3 a.m. and I'm up. Yesterday, I posted a Current Mood mini where I made a little joke on the Imagine video. And I don't like ripping on celebrities. And I don't think I did rip on celebrities. I'm just having fun with the idea that I also knew another song called Imagine, and I thought it would be funny if I'm an idiot. I love ripping on myself. Very rippable, highly rippable person. I don't know if you know this. Some people don't like anything my face does. Some people, I mean, down to the micro expression, don't like anything that this face does. But I put it up, and I got great response. That made me feel great because I could go look at some likes and comments, and that took my mind off things for a minute, so thank you. But I got something wrong. I said that the song Imagine was from Ariana Grande's 2019 album, Sweetener. I'm so sorry to fans, to stands. If you're a stand of Ariana Grande, I apologize. It's actually from Thank You Next. And I felt bad about that. And then I thought to myself, it's exactly how right I want to be about something. Get yourself a guy who knows that Ariana Grande has a song called Imagine, but doesn't quite know which record it's from. This makes me the kind of guy you want to be with. You know, sometimes you want to know just enough, but not all the way. Get yourself a guy who knows Glossier is your cosmetics brand on the bathroom counter, but doesn't know that in the stretch concealer, he's a G7. So anyway, my apologies. Also, I am a G7 in a stretch concealer. Well played, John Mayer. Thank you very much. Thank you. By the way, Kat Dennings, you should cut your own bangs. And I can tell you why on a very brief but powerful psychological level. I'm growing my dumb facial hair in because I need to see a different person in the mirror so that when this is over, I'm totally serious. I take it off and it looks like I did the day that this all went down. I'm doing all these things to kind of psychologically protect myself. We'll get more on that later. But as I was thinking about Gal Gadot while I was making the bit, I find myself coming up with little songs all the time. And the people who are in my life know that the songs I come up with are two things. They're sticky as hell and they're annoying as fuck. The stuff you hear, I mean, that's the stuff I put my time and energy into. But then there's these little ones I come up with. And I came up with one yesterday, and it has to do with Gal Gadot. And I wrote her a jingle. This is a jingle. And Gal Gadot, if you're watching, and God knows why you would, but I wrote a jingle, and it's for your website, and it goes like this. GalGadot.com. GalGadot.com. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, it's stupid, but maybe you try it out for a week. Someone goes to GalGadot.com and they hear GalGadot.com. I've had this song stuck in my head for 2 days, and I've been annoying the very few people I've been around with this. There cannot be a shorter thing to get stuck in your head. And I'm a little crazy from having made that song, because that song is about 1.5 seconds long. And when you're looping it, you will almost lose your mind. GalGadot.com. So stupid, I apologize. A wonderful, talented actress. I saw her one time at a restaurant. I got all nervous. A great person, and I'm playing name games, but it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh, and I just want to say, if we could just loosen up the sort of standards we put on things being funny or appropriate. I just want. Can I do it? Can I do it one more time? Can I do it one more time? Thank you. Thank you. How's it going out there? Jazz music. Both of you make me nervous. Oh, that's nice to know. Nervous gang. What's going on out there? Silently release an album of jingles like these, please, and thank you. You know, I don't like coming up with this stuff any more than anyone else likes hearing it, because I'm the one who has it rattling around my brain. That is right. We all need to laugh, and the dumber, the better. By the way, I can't wait until the day that I can go back to the original Current Mood set. I had to sort of evacuate the original Current Mood set I mean, I didn't have to go far. I mean, the original current mood set's right here. But that doesn't feel right to me. That was from a different time, a time we will return to once again. But for now, this is the current mood set. It was really hard to leave that place. I had a lot of memories over there, but it's our time down here. It's our time down here. And that's all over the minute you ride up on Troy's bucket. Just remember that. N95 masks are trusted by heads of industry from construction to medical, all around the world for decades. N95 masks, John Mayer approved. If you guys could then screen record that part and put it out for me, it would be great. I feel like it would up my chances of getting hooked up. I want that swag. Oh, I want that N95 swag. I also want to talk about Lysol disinfectant wipes. Keep your family clean. Keep surfaces like new. Kills 99.9% of stuff. Are we going to want to move out of our homes when this is over? That's a deep question. I do believe there are some people who will not live in cities anymore. That's a meaty watch. It is a meaty watch. The same way that I can't quite find the part of my heart and soul right now that is like gung-ho about music. I can't wear white gold right now. You need sleep, John. What are you, my Apple Watch? You tell me to stand up and breathe next? I actually don't need sleep. But I'm wearing a G-Shock. It just doesn't feel appropriate to wear the crazy stuff. And it makes me feel like I'm on a mission. And that mission is putting others at ease, putting myself at ease, trying to figure out how to navigate a new lifestyle. What am I sipping on? I'm actually sipping on a beverage that apparently, unfortunately, cannot solve this crisis, and therefore I am not mentioning it. Should you buy a pinky ring? I think on behalf of pinky ring enthusiasts everywhere, if you have to ask, you don't need to buy a pinky ring. Has anyone in the world ever asked another person if they should buy a pinky ring? The type of person who wears a pinky ring doesn't ask anybody for shit. Because if you can pull off a pinky ring, for many years before this, you've been dancing to your own salsa. I made that up really fast because I meant to say marching to the beat of your own drum. God is in the form of toilet paper at Walmart. Maybe. You'll never know for sure unless you devote most of your day to prayer to it. And if your prayers are answered, then yes, indeed, God lives in the toilet paper. Or maybe, just maybe, as they haul you out of the Walmart, put you in the back of a police car, you might realize God was never in the toilet paper. It was in you all along. Just like an amulet that allows you to pitch fastballs on the Cubs at the age of 13. I don't think there was an amulet involved in The Rookie. What was the movie where it was like, it was never the amulet? There's always an amulet. It always turns out the powers were in you the whole time. Or you both pissed in a urinal together and lightning struck. I don't remember these movies. I have other things to talk about. The bees are all around my head. Let's say you want to know when Wonder Woman is going to be released. Well, you might want to. June 2nd. June 2nd is the answer. Angels in the outfield. Is that that's the amulet? I don't know. Hair looking good as always. Thank you. I just washed it. Anyone else out there using less shampoo? I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm starting to ration shampoo. I go, you never know. Using just a little bit. Should I borrow my friend's guitar? Will it give me corona? That's way above my pay grade. Did I shower? I just showered. You can tell I just showered because my ears are red. I'm saying Godot wrong. I'm actually not saying Godot wrong. So, I looked this up, where I should have looked up, that Imagine is off of Thank You Next. I looked up. It actually is Godot, but it is said with an Israeli accent, but it is Godot. And I searched one place and I think it was an auto mechanics website. But I'm going with it. James Fauntleroy, what is up? You just got dumped. Please help. Just get it all out of the way. That's how I can help. It's a bad year. Throw it all in the same bucket. Would you rather have been dumped next year or during this? I'm saying if you can have any other bad stuff happen during this, just put it all in the same rocket. Also, I'm very sorry if you got dumped. However, let me go into the strategy of this. There's no way that if you got dumped right now, you're not getting back together again. You are in the best position that anyone's ever been in when they got dumped, because you literally have zero competition. The only competition is some guy's notion, and I'm assuming, I don't know if it was a male or female that wrote that. Either way, there's no competition. Where are they going to go? You're in the greatest situation ever. If you get dumped during a pandemic where people are locked inside their houses, you just go, yeah, good luck to you. What are you going to do? You're coming back. You know what you can say when someone dumps you during a quarantine in a pandemic? You say, all right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. That's what you say. Say, I'll talk to you tomorrow. You say, I'm going to. And that's if you want to subscribe to her mailing list to get updates on what she's up to lately. Here's another thing. Last week, we added another health crisis to the pile when we found out that comedian Dave Chappelle had pink eye. And I wrote him before. I said, hey, if you want to let anyone know what your update is, maybe you can come on the show and update us. We could use some good news. And then I got a text coming through to tell me that Dave was some other name. Dave, are you out there? That's right, Guitar Center, MPC for the win. I'm using an MPC for exactly what it was made for. Goofy sounds. Boing. Well, Cena, if you remember who it was, what the name is, I have to look for. Your birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday. Chris goes, fucking Guitar Center is here. If somebody asked you what's a classic John Mayer song, Stop This Train, maybe? Oh, it's Elaine now. Okay. Okay, I'm looking out for Elaine. What else is going on out there? First thing to do once the pandemic is over? Man, I mean, that's going to be some kind of a night, but we don't need to think about it yet because there's something I want to pitch to you, and it's a little something called stamina. We made it through a week. We've only begun to kind of dig our groove on what this is supposed to be. I just don't want anybody getting cocky. We know that it works. Just like an N95 mask works in all applications involving dust particles from construction to medical work. I'm a 7-time Grammy-winning artist. My name is John Mayer. I hardly ever pitch stuff. But the one thing I've loved all this year, I mean nonstop, is the N95 mask. I can't say it enough. Sometimes I wear one just around the house so that when I take it off, air smells weirder. Okay, so let's see if we can follow up with Dave on his health crisis. I'm going to hit that button, and sometimes that little button down there doesn't want to work. Okay, we're about to go live. Dave Chappelle, who last week was hit with the scourge of pink eye. And we're going to find out whether he's got the... Hey! Everyone, welcome to Dave Chappelle. DaveChappelle.com. How's it going? So, Dave, everybody this week has been on, has just been on edge, wondering the question everyone needs the answer to.
I have
How's
good
your
news
pink
to
eye?
report, John. Great news to report. I have single-handedly stopped the spread of pink eye in the state of Ohio. Thanks to my fast action. This is Michelle Wolf.
Hey, Michelle Wolf is
Hi.
back. How are you? So,
I'm
Michelle,
good. How are you?
Good. Is it safe to assume now that you are living?
She's trapped. Now, if you were Michelle, now this is an honest question. If you were Michelle, would you stay here in Ohio or would you fly back to New York during this crisis?
I would stay in Ohio, and that begs the question, were you out there just visiting and then this happened?
Yeah, she was doing a benefit for a school out here.
Got it.
And
It got canceled.
It got canceled, and then here we all are.
Let me ask you a question, David. It just came to mind. When you leave that room, does everything look really blue to you?
Do you know why I do this? They say that red is the softest spectrum of light on your eyes. One.
Well, apparently that didn't work last week, did it?
Well, yeah, but this is not from pink eye. This is marijuana smoke. The pink eye is eradicated.
You liked red so much, you're like, just put it in my head. I want everything to look.
Are you getting crazy being by yourself or no?
No, I'm finding ways to measure this all out so that, like, I've got gentle hours, I've got deal with it hours.
Wait, what are gentle hours?
Gentle hours.
The gentle hours.
You got a song for everything.
That is where people are not allowed to give me bad news about shit. You're not allowed to tell me that you heard that Black Hawk helicopters are on their way to the Grove. You're not allowed to tell me this.
Those are called the gentle hours. What generally are the gentle hours? Give us the hours.
I would say the hours where you revert to feeling like you're most childlike. Do you know there's...
I would call that the evening for me.
Well, that's what I mean. The gentle hours are the evening. They're from, let's say, 9 o'clock to the time you go to sleep.
Yeah, it's Bing Crosby dinner. It's how was school today, Beaver?
Yeah, that's the boy. I think we all have this conditioning to these hours feeling. It just feels like your homework. It's time to do homework. The TV's on. People are going to take care of you. It's time to get to bedtime. I don't like people trying to spook me during that period of time.
Okay, I understood. So don't speak to me till after 9 o'clock. When can you talk to
No,
me?
if you're going to talk to me after 9 p.m., don't try to frighten me.
John, all my phone calls are terrifying.
All my phone calls are terrifying, and I just don't need it in my life. What I'm trying to tell my viewers to do, my friends to do, is that you have to switch to local at a certain hour where it's only you. Because
someone just commented, we're giving them anxiety. Will you man the fuck up? Jesus Christ, it's only been 5 days. Nigga, will you relax?
I don't know. You're like the story that everyone heard about growing up of the boy who can't feel pain.
Because this is so like, I'm just doing it because we all doing it.
You don't have.
But if the club was open, nigga, I would go. Just because.
Let me ask you.
I wouldn't. By the way, all you spring breakers, cut it out.
What would you do if you were in LA right now? Every time I've seen you in LA, you went to the club. What would you do right now if you were in LA and they said, essential travel only, please stay put?
I would literally stay. If I was in LA, I'd
Yeah.
stay in the house.
What would you do? I've never seen you stay in the house in LA.
Well, it depends on whose house I was at, John.
You'd be at Eddie
house
Murphy.
like yours. I could stay in the house for weeks and weeks. Jesus. Is it like a regular house or is it like one of them houses?
Oh no. I don't know what's a regular house? I mean, forget about where you're staying in. You can't go out. Would you?
No, you cannot. No matter how nice your house is, you'll hate it after a while. But some people's houses are nicer than others. In LA, it's like, you know what I mean?
I think
if
there's
I was at Eddie Murphy's house bowling a few games. I could do some time.
Right. You want to do any time? You want to do any time right now? You want to do it? Do you want to do any kind of a set? Anything you have?
I couldn't. I couldn't. I have a weird belief. Stand-up is meant to be consumed with an audience. Like, it'd be sacrilege.
I got
it. For me personally, the other comedians, please have at it. Go ahead and talk at your phone in an empty room.
You know what's really funny is I thought to myself yesterday after seeing like a bunch of lives, I thought to myself, not as easy as it looks, is it?
No, it's not. In fact, I got to tell you, man, I've been watching you. You're great at this.
I'm trying.
No, like if the world was ending and you were the last, if you were I Am Legend, and someone stumbled across this show, they'd be like, "Oh my God, civilization still exists." People are freaking out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like the person in Terminator going through a radio going, anybody out there? This is John Connor. Anybody out there? Is there anybody out there? That's how I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Terminator fan, I see.
But we out here, man. I am a Terminator fan.
Anything else you want to talk about before I sum up the show?
Remember the best part of the Terminator? This guy had a baby's mama in the past.
I guess he did. He had a baby's mama
in the past. It's the greatest time traveling. Yeah, whatever.
The greatest time traveling conundrum known to man.
My baby's mama's in the past. I'm getting a text message from the past.
How much money do I have?
You know, I have a theory about time travel that if it became invented, the same way we thought the internet was going to be used for like trading incredible information, that time travel was just going to be like selling new cars, like used cars as new. You would just take a like a used 1986 Sierra, bring it back to 1986, get retail on it.
If you could travel time,
yeah.
I don't know how much time we have. But where would you go? You only get one trip, John.
Yep.
But it's a round trip. Don't touch anything. Don't break anything.
1959, New York City.
Oh. That's a good call. What are you holding Caulfield? What are you gonna walk around?
No, I want to see the jazz music.
Oh, that's a good one. I'd go a little bit further back. I would go when Charlie Parker was still alive.
Well, it's not that far from 59.
No, 48. Parker died in 55. I go like 1948. That's young Miles Davis.
That's right. But I'd want to go.
That's a good answer.
I had this idea. We're very close to our answers. I had this idea for a time travel movie where a group of people travel back in time to 1941, and they're like, oh my God, we can change the course of history. But they realize they know nothing about world history, and that they're just basically like, if you went back into time, are you a world history guy?
Yes.
So do you think if you went back,
by the way, is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Those guys were stupid as shit. They called Socrates Socrates. It was ridiculous.
But I think
one of the greatest movies ever made.
If I went back in time, I'd be like, oh, I can change the course of events where they went wrong. And then I would realize that I was an idiot who only knew 2 or 3 things about anything from the past. Do you think you would know enough to change the course of World War II?
Yes. I would just be like, hey, listen, I'm from the future. You got to believe me. Hitler's not a good guy. Like, I'm just telling you, I just know.
How do I say this?
That would be hilarious. That'd be a great movie. A black guy from the future trying to convince 1940s white people. You gotta believe me. I know some things about geopolitics. This Hitler guy is not gonna work out.
Bad news. Bad news. By the way, you're seeing inside the anatomy of how Dave and I work. I say unfunny but constructive things for about 5 minutes. And then Dave
what are you talking about? You're hilarious.
Then Dave replies to it with like
John,
the volleyball spike of all spikes.
Michelle, what did I just say? Didn't I just say he was one of the funniest people I've ever met?
You said he was one of the funniest people you ever met.
Thank you. I can give you the parts for the jokes, but I can't give you the jokes.
No, but you know the parts. It's a big deal.
Thank you.
Oh, it sounded, I'm sorry. Shout out.
What was the next thing you were going to go to?
Never mind. Instagram, you got to be careful. This is where every celebrity wipes out and ruins their career for free.
For free.
Jesus Christ. By the way, shout out to Daniel Caesar. I love you, bro.
We all love Daniel Caesar. Daniel Caesar, I'll make sure this gets to you.
Yeah, I really do. I love that kid. He's a great kid.
He's the best. Well, listen, take care of yourself. both you guys. Have a great week. Please stay pink eye free.
No, we stopped it. We stopped listening. I got the National Guard, nigga, Tom Hanks doctors. Everybody is here making sure that we stop the spread of pink eye.
Well, maybe you could send some of the doctors back to work.
They're free and clear now, buddy. They're already back in the field.
Good. Well, enjoy it. Have fun
They're
out there.
Spring break, working out a herpes virus. A herpes vaccine was the punchline. I fucked it up.
No, it's... Well,
who catches herpes during this time? I'm like washing my hands 50 times a day. These kids are down there getting herpes. Like, hot cakes.
Dave, I don't think you know how herpes is spread.
It's not from your hands. Oh, thank God.
Yeah, it's not exactly how it works.
Thank God.
Did you ever do the joke? Did you ever do the herpes joke on a special, or can you tell people my favorite?
Which one? I got so many herpes jokes. I don't have herpes, but it's a funny disease.
I've been playing.
Doesn't kill you, it just ruins your life.
No, the one where you say I've been playing.
Huh?
If I try to tell you what the joke is, I'll tell you the actual line, and then it won't be funny when you say it.
No, tell me, please.
You said, "Can I whisper it to you?"
Yes.
You said, "I've been playing a game of cat and mouse."
I've been playing a game of cat and mouse with herpes for 30 years. Yeah, I'm the gingerbread man. Catch me can, BD.
Will you say one more thing for me? That's one of my favorite lines that we came up with. You were at my house, and I was talking about how a guy we both know made me feel just like I just had a strange rapport with him, and I said, he just makes me feel confusing. And you laughed, and you loved the line, and the way you put it is one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Will you please do the...
Bless him one time.
I remember, but I can't remember. It was like, stop making me feel confusing, motherfucker. Yo, the next motherfucker in here that made me feel confusing is getting knocked the fuck out. He makes me feel confusing.
You said, the way it came out was, yo, and then you said your thing, you're making me feel confusing.
Yo, my man. He made me feel confusing. That shit was fucking, where were we?
We were at my house. We were at my house in Montana.
Nice.
Nice.
By the way, that house is so nice for John Mayer fans. John's house in Montana is so nice, I took up yodeling after I left.
Oh, well.
You gotta see the house. That's a really funny joke. Yeah. The hills are alive with the sounds of music.
The hills are alive. I'm going to let you go, and then I'm going to talk to you later offline. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you soon.
Stay well, my friend.
You guys, too.
All right.
Bye. Bye, Michelle. Bye, Dave. Bye, Elaine. Sorry I didn't say hi to Elaine last time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Elaine. Bye. Dave Chappelle, everybody. Bye. Oh, my goodness. Well, it's time to wrap it up, I suppose. This is the, what do you make of this, Johnny?
Johnny, what do you make out of this?
It's an airplane reference. There's something actually that I want to get across. It's actually not a joke. Where in the coming days, you're going to be faced with a decision. And that decision is whether or not you want to see some really distressing stuff play out. In terms of hospitals, in terms of medical supply shortages, in terms of, I just feel like we're getting to a place where things are about to get very cell phone video, visceral, emotional, real. And I don't think we have a lot of experience with the news being anything other than informative. But I don't think that you need to see something terrible be terrible to understand that it's terrible. In fact, I think it can do some harm. And this is a decision people are going to have to make. And I only am bringing it up early because I think it's a question to ask yourself in preparation for it. I don't need to see somebody drown to know that drowning is not good. And it can only be distressing. And like I said, we don't have experience with ignoring the news being constructive. But I asked myself the question, and you should ask yourself the question, if you look at this, what is there to learn? And I personally have nothing to learn from looking at something be as terrible as people have described to me. We're sensitive people with sensitive psyches. And for the most part, everything in our life that's delivered to us is within a relative range of normalcy. And like I said before, there's a kind of a child inside of us that we have to protect. And it's okay to cover that child's eyes. I know this sounds really artsy-fartsy, but I'm being serious. I'm going to, at the first minute I feel distress from it, I'm not going to look. You don't have to look. Because there's PTSD in that. And I actually spoke to one of the foremost experts on PTSD about this last night because I didn't want to come on and start preaching about something I didn't know about. I mean, I'm the guy who thought that Imagine was on Sweetener. And of course, it's on Thank You Next. So you can decide whether you want to look or not. I'm calling it strategic ignorance. And right now we're bummed out. Right now we're distressed, but I think that I don't want to see things traumatizing. And there are going to be some things that are happening behind closed doors that professionals are going to have to take care of. And we're doing our part, and you're doing your part, I hope, by staying inside, by distancing yourself from people. And I think I can speak for the overall sort of ethic of medicine, that you take care of that thing, let them take care of the other thing. Because there's nothing you can look at that you'll learn anything from in this case. It's just going to be distressing. So just make the decision now, whether that's something you're going to look at, and it doesn't make you irresponsible. It doesn't mean you're not concerned. It means you have to look out for your cognitive function so that when this is over, you can go back to life as normal as you possibly can, and you can be there to help in whatever way you can. And you just have to protect that part of your brain so that when it's time to go back out, you can be of help and won't have done any long-term damage to yourself psychologically. The great phrase that I heard yesterday from this brilliant doctor is cultural stamina. And he was concerned about something like cultural stamina. And we made it through a week. And I think this is, we just drew the map. We just drew the map. And now we know what a week looks like and a week feels like. You know, if this thing is weeks long, and we get to judge that or gauge that in how many D-Nice sets that is, then I would say that D-Nice should get the Presidential Medal of Freedom, because I can't wait till the next D-Nice set on Saturday night. And Saturday afternoon is going to have cooking and talking to friends and people playing guitar. So we've dug the groove. We may have to go around it a few more times. But this is the week that it's going to become a week of seeing distressing things. And it's okay to opt out of seeing distressing things. And spread that around if you can. Just tell people, if people are going out, you don't have to watch. You don't have to watch. We're doing our part by staying indoors. We're doing our part by distancing and hand washing and all that stuff. We don't have to see behind doors that we would never want to be behind. So, with great respect and honor to everybody right now who is tending to this incredibly, incredibly tough crisis, thank you. We know what you're doing behind these closed doors. If you're a doctor and you're watching this on a cot in a room, I don't know, I saw this on ER once. I think in the pilot I saw someone taking a nap in like a break room or like a storage room. Thank you. We know it is never, ever lost on us that the things we can't see are going on and that they are distressing. I don't want to color it more. I'm going to say it's distressing. And we know it is. And we will do anything you ask us to do. And so will an N95 masks. It'll ask. It'll do anything you ask of it. So send me N95 masks, and then doctors and nurses, they're coming right at you. So look for a box coming from John Mayer. I also want to end off on a high note, but it's not a high note. It's a high musical note, and it's a sad life note. Kenny Rogers passed away. And Islands in the Stream by Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton was one of the first records I ever heard in my life. And if you grew up in the early 80s, and certainly in the decades before, you listened to music and you watched the label on the record go around. You would watch the words turn. And depending on the actual record label, they would have different artwork. You'd see the rainbow go around for Arista, and you'd see the Warner Brothers like arch at the studios go around. You would just see the words go around. And I just remember seeing Islands in the Stream, just going like this, over and over and over again. And I want to play this song for you. And if you're a musician, if you're a songwriter, I want you to hear how absolutely incredible this song is. And I just wish that we lived in a world right now where we could all get together and sing Kenny Rogers songs and tribute the man. I'm sure we will. But before we go, I would just like to play this song, Islands in the Streams, from the first things I ever heard in my life. And I send you off